Video games have gone through their fair share of changes and evolutions over the years. Nevertheless, it's always nice to look back and appreciate the games of old which either shaped genres as we know them today or provided unforgettable experiences. So, 2 decades later, let's take a look back at 15 of the best games from 2001. Before we begin, please consider subscribing and enabling all notifications by clicking the bell icon. With that out of the way, let's get started. Halo Combat Evolved. From being a third-person shooter on the Mac to a first-person shooter exclusive to the Xbox, Bungie's IP saw its fair share of changes. When it debuted, it presented incredible gunplay, well-crafted missions, and large sandbox-like levels that rewarded all kinds of playstyles. All of this, along with Marty O'Donnell's stellar score, turned Halo into a juggernaut and Microsoft into a venerable gaming force for years to come. Grand Theft Auto 3. Rockstar's magnum opus may not have been the first open-world game, but it provided the best fully 3D crime sandbox at the time. Along with a compelling narrative, players could either cause random destruction and see the city react accordingly, or embark on any number of side activities, from taxi driving to vigilantism. Grand Theft Auto 3 changed the industry in a number of ways, and still serves as an example of open-world attention to detail. Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty. After Metal Gear Solid's release, the hype for its sequel was simply overwhelming. Despite this, and Konami's own marketing, director Hideo Kojima subverted expectations, delivering a new protagonist and a story about the digital age shaping one's identity. Fans may have hated Raiden, but it was hard not to love Metal Gear Solid 2's incredible production values, both in graphics and sound design, along with its many improvements to enemy AI and stealth. Gran Turismo 3: A-SPEC. Before Forza, Gran Turismo was the undisputed king of console racing sims, and Gran Turismo 3: A-SPEC was the pinnacle. With jaw-dropping visuals and over 180 painstakingly rendered cars, including new Formula 1 vehicles, it also provided better organized Gran Turismo and arcade modes. The former still served as the main attraction, with a hefty number of events across 5 leagues that rewarded mastery while keeping things comfortable. Whether you're keen on an immersive racer or want some quick laps, Gran Turismo 3: A-SPEC was the best. Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. Following its amazing success with the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Naughty Dog faced an arduous task, creating a free-roaming 3D platformer with 2 new characters that pushed the PS2's hardware. Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy was the result, combining a solid mix of action, platforming and collecting across well-designed levels. It's had its shortcomings, and the game's core wouldn't be fully realized until the sequels, but Jak and Daxter's first outing was still a great debut and adventure in its own right. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 didn't just look and sound phenomenal, but felt like an absolute joy to play. The manual revolutionized the series' already solid gameplay, while the controls were airtight. Career mode had been expanded significantly with several more objectives, and provided cash rewards for improving stats and unlocking new characters. But even more amazing was the introduction of a level editor for creating your own parks. Final Fantasy X. As the first Final Fantasy title on the PlayStation 2, Square had its work cut out. Right off the bat, Final Fantasy X's production values were simply unreal, once again cementing the company as one of the premier RPG studios. It also marked a number of changes on the standard series formula, like the conditional turn-based battle system, sphere grid, and overdrives, which gave more interactivity to the traditional limit breaks. Even the summons were heavily revamped and felt more involved. Even with Tidus at times being, well, Tidus, Final Fantasy X still stands the test of time. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Super Smash Bros. Melee first made waves for just how great its characters and environments looked. However, till this day, it remains a favourite among players for its amazing feel and competitive mechanics. Along with 26 characters, HAL Laboratory stuffed the title with compelling modes, from classic mode's runs to adventure mode's unique stages based on classic Nintendo franchises. Then there were the trophies, collectible figures of various franchises that served as a treasure trove for Nintendo fans. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. Plenty of praise was heaped on Rogue Squadron 2 for its outstanding visuals, showcasing just how powerful the Nintendo GameCube could be. But it was also a great realization for the first game's formula, providing a fun action flight game with all of the memorable sequences from Star Wars and even better gameplay. To no one's surprise, it was a success and sold faster than any of LucasArts' previously published titles back then. Silent Hill 2. While both Resident Evil and Silent Hill both made waves in the survival horror genre, the latter leaned more into the psychological aspects of horror. What began as a town dominated by cultists becomes a terrifying nightmare, as those who enter are forced to face their repressed trauma and evil deeds. Silent Hill 2 starts out in this fashion with James Sunderland slowly coming to terms with the fate of his wife. Its deft pacing, iconic creature designs, and cinematography, combined with a morality that left James's judgment in the player's hands, made for an instant classic. Sonic Adventure 2. At the time, Sonic Adventure was praised for seamlessly translating Sonic's speed and level design into the 3D space. Sonic Adventure 2 is great for not just trying to cash in on the same formula, introducing 2 separate campaigns for the heroes and villains, along with much more involved stages and mechanics for Sonic and Shadow. Yes, the story in Emerald collecting with Rouge and Knuckles was pretty lame, but the more compelling speed stages and improved visuals still made Sonic Adventure 2 incredibly fun to play. Twisted Metal Black. Developed by Incognito Entertainment, Twisted Metal Black provided everything that one could want from a Twisted Metal game. Twisted Metal Black garnered a strong critical reception and was the first game in the series to warrant a mature rating. The game was praised for its graphics and shooting mechanics, making it one of the best entries in the series. Max Payne. At the time when everyone wanted to be the next Half-Life, Remedy Entertainment offered something unique in Max Payne. It was a third-person shooter, but one imbued with a style of John Woo and bullet time from The Matrix. This wasn't just for show either, as the latter added more strategic depth to the combat. The gritty presentation, combined with graphic novel-like art and panels, further immersed players in the tormented mind of Max Payne, as the narrative deftly oscillated between conspiracies, crime syndicates, and corruption. SSX Tricky. What more can you say about SSX Tricky that hasn't been already said? The gameplay is still great, featuring new and old remix tracks. The Uber moves pushed one to fill the boost bar and spell out Tricky, feeding into the fast-paced snowboarding. And World Circuit mode was expanded with the rivalries, significantly changing how the AI interacted with the player. Add in the phenomenal music, which evolved as one played better, and you had an absolute banger of an experience. Eco. The games as art debate began long before Eco's release, but its minimalist design, visual storytelling, and beautiful presentation still serve as an indelible argument in support of the medium. The story saw a young boy Eco attempting to save Yorda, who was held captive in a mysterious castle. Though essentially a platformer, the player also had to take care of Yorda, solving puzzles to help her progress while protecting her from shadow creatures. As underrated today as it was at launch, Eco is a sublime experience for all adventure fans. So what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.